This meeting is being recorded.
She's already on it. Okie doke. 1 second. Cool. Awesome. Oh, I normally have some music going. I forgot to turn my music on today. I see Katie and Joan and Nicole. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay, I'll continue to let people in as we go. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. I almost said Friday. I wish it was Friday. Thank you guys for being on. We've had an awesome marketing and branding panel for the last 2 months. So this is our part 3 for our marketing and branding. And today I've got some really awesome guests for you guys. Oh yeah, they're already spotlighted. Perfect. Abby, thank you. This is great. And I'm going to let them introduce to you guys. We are recording. I always get the question of, are we recording or not? And yes, we are recording. So we'll send out the recording. I'm pumped. I love all 3 of these individuals and following them. I don't know, Justin, I followed for a while. I don't even know that we knew each other until I think we met at family reunion, maybe for the first time. And Felicia, I've always loved everything that you do. And Danny, I mean, we're just, you know, homies from the start.
Kindred spirits.
Yes, kindred spirits. Yes, twins. Yes. Okay, so let's start with you guys just introducing yourself, giving a little bit of info about your business. Danny, you want to kick us off?
Sure. So I love doing these. I tell Dana all the time, like I just get so hyped about people and stuff. And I was hyped about people and stuff long before real estate. And I'm sure I'll be hyped about people and stuff long after real estate. So for me, I run a team now of 10, which is crazy to say out loud because 4 years ago I got a license and it was just me. And it was just me for about 1.5 years.
4 years, right? 4 years.
I just hit 4 years like 2 days ago. So we do Cincinnati market primarily. We do work in Northern Kentucky. I'm licensed there. And then we do the Dayton region as well a little bit here in Ohio. So for me, the biggest part of growth was really utilizing and strategizing around different styles of marketing and obviously using leverage when building out that team. So I never wanted to be in this alone. We can answer 1,000 questions about 1,000 topics. I think I'll stick more to client event stuff today is probably what I'm most excited about. Last year you'd ask kind of for some metrics. We did about 42 million in business last year, which was 150 or 151 right on that number units. This year we've already, with pending and close, we've broken 100 through the end of June, which is really exciting because our goal was 260 million. We're at like 32 million and over 100. So we are like right on pace for that goal. We just brought on a new rock star agent that I could not be more excited about. She passed her exam literally yesterday. And everything we do is a party. So I'm sure we'll talk about all that in detail. Dana usually has to point me in a direction and I will go crazy about it because I just love this stuff.
I love it. Awesome. I'm super excited for your year. That's going to be great. And I just want everybody to hear that 42 million in 4 years in the business. And that's amazing. So good job, Danny. I love it. Awesome. Cool. Felicia, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. Thank you so much, Dana, for having me. I'm actually started out on a team. My first full-time year was at Keller Williams in Dublin, Consultants Realty. Was on a
Actually, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, Beery and Faust. And
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
cool.
My first full year, I ended up being Rookie of the Year of that office and went out on my own in 2019. I'm sorry, 2018.
Yep.
Joined Next Home in 2019. So got that messed up. But I've been licensed since 2016. I was serving tables, kind of a tumbleweed in the wind. And I served 2 real estate agents that shared how wonderful of a dining experience it was and signed up for real estate classes. And here we go. So now 6 years in, it is just me and a transaction coordinator. You wanted me to share metrics. I did over 15 million last year, 50 units and 465 in GCI.
Great. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Year over year, I have always wanted to grow, but grow with the right people. I want to connect with people, not chase them. So for me,
I love that.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to grow referral and word of mouth. And by God, I've done that, and I'm very blessed and thankful to continue to grow that way. And I knew I was committed to the long game. So if it took me longer to do that, then that's fine. Because again, like he said, I just want to have fun and the right people around me.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's totally part of your brand. You can tell with, and I love what Abby just posted, connect with people, not chase them. I think that's huge. And that's what you do with marketing and branding. And Justin, you definitely connect with people. So tell us a little bit about you and your team.
I've been in business for just about 2.5 years now. I started off on a team my first year, I was hoping, I did my research. I knew the average agent closed 2 to 3 deals their first year. So I thought I didn't think I was average. So I was like shooting for 5, like that was my goal. Ended up closing 22 deals my first year, for about 8 million. I got rookie of the year in our office. And then second year, I poured a lot of money into marketing and more branding and hit social media really hard. And I went from 20 deals around 8 million to 40 deals, closing around 20 million my second year.
Wow.
So more than doubled my business, and it spiraled me into like a different avenue. And I do a lot of more wholesale flipping and retail and balancing the 3. So I had some girls reach out to me this year about starting a team, and I didn't think I was ready because I'm still was only 2 years in the business. I think it was irresponsible to take someone else's business in my hands when I'm still learning the business, but they talked me into it. Now I have a team of 8 agents. We're a month and a half old as a team, and we're already closed 16, 17 million in production.
Wow.
So we're shooting for about 60, 70 million to close this year.
Great.
And only being a month old. So they're on fire, but I'm trying to teach them how to balance retail business with investment side.
Okay.
So just be a balance more and how to compete with these big markets on social media, because there's no way we're ever going to compete with these huge names as far as a marketing level with the $2 million a month some of these companies are spending, but there's no way they're going to be able to compete with us on a social media level. So
well, I can't
add much to like I don't have a CRM. I don't do much client events. Like I'm bad at that. And that's something I hired somebody this year to help me out with. So Danny's definitely going to be more helpful on that end. But as far as social media marketing and branding, I can help more on that side.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's amazing. The brand that you've created is just incredible. I mean, I love that Chris Hutchinson, one of our agents in little old Ashland, Kentucky, said I followed you for years. I love it. It's so cool.
Cool to hear.
I love it. Okay. So let's talk about first, like, why is brand important, especially in building a sustainable business? And when did you realize that? Like, was it from the beginning or was it after you'd been in it for a little bit? Danny, you want to go first? You're muted.
Good call. Thank you. My background literally is in branding. And yesterday I got the ultimate compliment that I've never received to this level in history before. And I was walking a house for somebody really listing probably a $350,000, $400,000 house. And he looked at me halfway through and said, oh, dude, Baron Group, you guys are like a branding agency that happens to do real estate. It was like the best thing anyone has ever said to me, because I come from market research. I come from a background I was the guy running focus group tables and connecting with people to get insights about products, then working with Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, Hershey Company, whoever, to then create products out of those things. There are so many strict brand guidelines. Those companies have 100-page documents about where you can and cannot put their logo on a candy bar. Like, it is so strict. And so in that world, I recognized and learned, like, top of mind awareness is one thing. People have to see a brand 7 times to even understand it exists. And then on top of that, there is a consistency from which you have to be doing things that match up to that brand. What realtors don't realize, and what the guy said yesterday after he made that comment, he laughed and said, you wouldn't believe how much time I've spent laughing at realtors' posts. He's like, people just throw things up and think they're branding or marketing themselves. He's like, you guys literally brand your team in a certain way and it's consistent. He said, other people just throw things out there and see what sticks. And for me, coming from someone else, that's a huge compliment, because that's what we're shooting for. And the underlying motivation for me really is, how do we maintain top of mind awareness where with friends and family, it's not a question of, oh, we need to sell a house, who do we call? It's they already knew a year ago that they were going with us, and then it just happened to be time to sell their house, so they're making the call. And I think for us, that is the way that we've tried to frame stuff up. I'm definitely the core marketing side of our business. and Justin just hinted at this, I don't give up control of our social media. It's too important. It's what makes us, and it's hilarious. You guys were both Rookie of the Year. I was too in our market center. So there's a weird little theme there.
Oh my gosh, look at me spotting talent. Yes.
Dana. But the element of stepping in at the beginning and understanding like, okay, this has to be very tactical. And even from the beginning, doing giveaways on social media and stuff, I told people in the first year, I absolutely 100% made $50,000 plus from Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
I looked at one of my agents at our team meeting last week and said, I literally think you're leaving 25 grand on the table because you don't post anything. Like you're crushing it, but who knows that? I know that. How does that help you? I'm not calling you to be my realtor. So at the end of the day, that branding, and that's my background, that's my world. We put a lot of money into our brand, and then the ability to have fonts and colors and consistency in everything that we do. And then because I'm running that social media platform, Dana, I've told you this before, but my two criteria, if it doesn't make us more trusted or it doesn't make us more fun, it's not going up. If it fits one of those criteria, and preferably both of those criteria, then we'll post it. And at this point, I now have hired a full-time marketing, not marketing, to be honest, it's a media guy, a full-time photographer, videographer on our team. I was sick of him being booked. I was sick of myself not having enough professional pictures and sniping iPhones. So pretty much anything we post on our account now, even if it's taken on an iPhone, it is sent to him to edit in Lightroom, and then we'll post it. So I've told my agents, I have standards now that we're not posting your little closing table photos anymore unless they're good, we're smiling, it's edited, and it makes sense for our brand, because my job is not to get you more clients. It's to build our brand so that you can use that brand to go win clients. If they follow us, they're going to know we're legit.
I love that.
You're going to get every closing table picture. So post those on your own. Welcome to running your own business within my team. So that's kind of the way that we frame stuff up. Our team loves each other. It's fun. We fit the brand, so we're not faking it. And that genuine nature of everybody and who they are, I think goes a long way. But to everybody watching this call, you have a brand. You don't have a team to have a brand. There's a personal brand aspect that all of us can lean into. And the thing that I say I complain about the most is you have the internet and you can show people exactly what you want to show them. So why are you on there whining? Quit complaining about how your life's hard and real estate's hard, and show people what you can do for them for the biggest transaction of their life. Like, you are sabotaging yourself if you're on there throwing out there things that you aren't trustworthy. So you have this platform that's free, to his point. I'm not spending $2 million. I barely even boost posts. We just do it all organically and do a lot of giveaways to try to build our following. So I'll breathe for a second, let you go a different direction.
I love that. Well, two things. I think when people know you and they look at what you guys do, you guys have so much fun and you're a fun person. And so I love that that's your brand. I mean, your brand is that they're going to have fun when they work with you, and you guys have fun, all the things, and you're trustworthy, and, all of that stuff too. So I definitely want to hit more on that, but I also really want to show you that today I have a special guest here, and you'll appreciate. It's Tyler.
Oh, stop it. I love that guy. What up, Tim?
I knew that would make you happy. We're doing branding and marketing and all kinds of fun stuff today too. So speaking of personal brand, so I guess Felicia, will you go next, and then we'll come to you, Justin? But not having a team, being an individual top producing agent, talk about brand, because like you, from what you wear to what you post to your colors to what you set, like you are so consistent with it. And that is what has always caught my eye about you. I'm like, golly, she never misses a beat with it.
Wow. I appreciate that, because I feel anything but consistent most days. I'm someone that just has always, even before real estate, I have a background in marketing. I went to University of Dayton. So already I've always loved connecting people. And supporting local businesses like fuels my soul. So I love shouting out things that I'm really into, whether that's non-real estate related. And I won't go too heavy into it, but I got arthritis at a young age. So I actually was studying to be a holistic health coach after college. So wellness is really important to me. And I use that to kind of reflect in my personal brand. Because for me, I kept going back and forth of, do I have a business account and a personal, but, I blended the two, and I really started getting more I don't know, this was years ago. I just made that decision. And I think people want to know each one of you. You know, if you're constantly posting, you know, of course you want to stay top of mind of posting like you're kicking ass, like you're selling homes out there, you're helping clients, which is what we do day in and day out. But people also want to share, like, you're relatable. If you're into golf, you're into craft beer, or you're into fashion, wellness, whatever, you know.
Or tattoos.
What's that? Tattoos.
Or tattoos.
Love it. Yes. I had, when I left the corporate world, I got 2 tattoos on my arms, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in real estate now. I got to cover these up. And I'm like, you know what? If someone doesn't want to work with me because I have 2 tattoos, like, see ya. But I think I love it. Like, clients want to work with you, and you will attract your tribe. When you put out, you know, what you're into and what energy you embody, you will attract that. So for me, when I post, I'll be honest, there are days when I have a love-hate relationship with social media and I'm just not feeling it. It's, you know, those days you're like in client appointments all day long. And I am not someone that has like a social calendar of like, I'm posting this day, this. And so when you said, Dana, like, you're consistent, I appreciate that, because it's whatever I'm feeling that day. My husband is kind of like my Instagram husband. I will have an idea in my head, and I swear captions run inside my head all night and all day long. That's the marketing side of me, that I'm like you. I don't want to relinquish that control of someone taking over the social media account. And so there'll be a day I'm like, Jason, come take a picture real quick. I have a caption idea. And so he'll just do it. I'll post it. Boom. So for me, I love this. And so just like you said, you're not into CRMs, playing events. I always say, like, really dial down and like, what are you good at? What are your strengths? For me, I love this. I love, if I could spend more time I've recently hired videographer to do some cool creative listing videos.
They're super good. They're very good. I loved them.
Thank you. And that's been fun for me. Certainly out of my comfort zone, because I'm not an actor or an actress, but I think it's just finding what you love to do, and that will reflect. And so my biggest advice here is just be authentic, be yourself. People want to see that. Yeah. And the biggest compliment, what you said, is every time I'm meeting a client for the first time, I get a lot of clients through social media, and they'll be like, I've been following you for a while, and you're exactly who you represent online. And so that's the biggest compliment.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's awesome. Love it. Justin, talk to us about like why the brand is important to you, and really kind of what sets you apart. And did you just come up with this from the beginning, or did you hire somebody, or what?
No. So I was a truck driver for 13 years. Before that, I worked with kids. I was a school teacher.
Wow.
So I knew nothing about real estate. I knew nothing about branding, knew nothing about marketing when I came into business. So the biggest compliment I've got was a guy who graduated Penn State School of Business, and he asked me where I went to marketing school. I said I was a truck driver for 13 years.
I thought for sure that you were in the marketing business. Like that, I would have 100% said that.
But here's the thing I do different than I think a lot of most realtors. I don't think like a realtor. I bought 2 houses and I sold 2 houses when I was driving a semi for a living. And I think as a consumer. So what did I want to see? What was I looking at? What was I buying? What was I doing when I was just a regular ass person? So when I was in school, so I finished school within 2.5 weeks. I had my business cards made. I had my car getting wrapped all before I even graduated my real estate school.
So you had it from the get-go.
Yeah, but I had a plan. So I was like, to me, I was going to use perception to help me, because I knew I was going to call myself the tattooed realtor and do all that. But there's never been anyone that I know of that's ever came in the business with their head and face tattooed. So I thought the stigma that was going to come along with it. Yeah. So I thought the more I looked legit and the more perception of success I had was going to help me in my beginning stage. Yep. So
Justin,
I had all this.
Did you ever look at the statistics before you started of like how many people fall out in the first year? Like it's insane.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest knocks that I got in school and from my friends and family was, who's going to use you? Like, you can't change people's minds. And I told them, I didn't even go to marketing school. I looked up marketing stats. Like, no matter what you do, whether your face is tattooed, whether you're a 60-year-old agent who's been in the business for 40 years, whether you're Felicia or Danny or a suit and tie guy, you're only going to get 33% of people. Like 33% of people are going to use you, 33% are going to hate you, and 33% are so indifferent, but they're not out. But what people lack is they focus so much on changing who they are to hit the 66%.
Wow.
Instead of just leaning into the 33%. Like, you don't need the whole pie. You just need to go to your sliver and attack your sliver hard and constant and over and over and over again, because those are going to be your core people that bring you business. These 66% are going to be the onesies and twosies. Like, these are going to be the referrals. These are going to be the constant partners. These are going to be the mom, friend, cousin, sisters selling the house. Like, so the people that don't hit their 33% are the people that are missing out. So I thought, legitimacy wise, when I first started, if you go to an open house that I'm holding to get clients, and I have a Keller Williams sign in, and it's another team's branding, and it's another team's this, they go in and see me, and they're gonna be like, "What? Like, who is this guy?" They're gonna think I'm like, I stuffed the agent in a closet. So I bought a car, and I wrapped my car, and I parked the car outside. It said the Tattooed Realtor, and then my open house sign said the Tattooed Realtor, and my listing sign said the Tattooed Realtor, and then I had a 6-foot cutout in front of the door saying, "Hey, welcome to my open house. Don't be alarmed by the big tattooed guy. Please sign in." So now when they come in the house, it's already looked legit. I don't have to overcome the objection of my look. So I figured if I attacked my look before somebody else did, then it would just help in that perception.
Wow.
And I knew social media was going to be my strong suit. And when I bought and sold a home, I had 7 or 8 realtors on my social media, but I got so used to over the years scrolling by their stuff because it was always market updates and this and that, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand, like, if you're not in real estate or lending, it's boring. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares what the market median price in Chicago is. No one cares about Cromford report and the last month of the dive. Like, no one cares. They just assume their agent's going to know. Like, no one actually looks at those posts and studies them. And I knew that because I bought a house. I skipped by all those agents' posts because I was so used to, I was trained over the years that this is just going to be that same boring shit. And my agent was the hottest girl at the gym. That's who I used. But that's what caught my eye. So I was like, how am I going to catch people's eye? And that's why I started branding myself around my look, because I was like, I know some people will be attracted by just the difference I bring in. And I knew social media posts were going to be huge for me, but I wasn't going to post market updates. I wasn't going to do these. My videos, I go for 2 things. I go for, I'm going to make you laugh, and I'm going to make you want to hit the share button. Like, that's it. Like, you're going to know I'm an agent. You're going to know I'm in real estate because the video is real estate related. But you're my core sphere on social media. You're always going to know, love, and trust me. You're going to be the ones that use me. I know that, but I need your friends. So I need you to hit that share button. So I remember I did a video. My very first video I did, I was 2 months in the business. I had nothing in my pipeline. I had 1 in escrow. And I was going for the legitimacy. I did a open house at a $3.2 million mansion. And to introduce my open house on social media for the week before, I sat in a hot tub in a full suit, and I had a glass of wine. And I pretended like it was a Tinder video. I was like, "Ladies, you love rich men with beautiful houses? Go ahead and swipe right." And the camera lady was like, "No, Justin, this is not for Tinder. This is for your open house." And I was like, "Oh, shit." And then I invited him to the open house. But I got flooded with messages of, "Dude, how did you get a $3.2 million listing? How are you listing that house?" And my first reaction wasn't, "Oh, it's not my listing." My first reaction was, "Bring me a buyer."
Yeah.
Because they don't know. See, they're not in the business, so you don't know the business. Like, every agent on my social media knew that wasn't my listing, but they're not going to buy a home for me. They're not going to sell a home for me. So I'm going after the other people that are naive in our business.
Wow.
So, and that open house ended up blowing up. And like, I started doing these just crazy, stupid videos. Like, I showed a house in a prison jumpsuit, and I used all prison terms explaining the house. Or I did because I was getting like kind of crap for my look because I was starting to blow up. The news did a story about me, so I was starting to get like well known in Arizona, and a lot of people were attacking my look, saying it's a joke and all that stuff. But it didn't bother me. But I used that as fodder for my marketing. But I did a video where I pulled up an email and it said, "Hey, Justin, you're very knowledgeable, and thank you for showing us a home. But me and my wife decided your look was too much for us, so we're going to use a different agent." And it started firing people up. But when the camera pans to me, I'm in a pink mesh stripper shirt and I have a S&M mask on, and I unbuckle and I spit up a ball gag. I said, can you believe how stuck up people are these days? So my look was that crazy look, but people just assumed it was the tattoos. But that one video got shared literally like 350 times on social media. It had over 20,000 or over 25,000 views on Facebook and Instagram. But that video got me 2 different buy sells, 2 different clients. Not from people that were following me, but from people that shared it. Now they come to me. So these videos and anything I do marketing, all it is a foot in the door. Like, I'm never going to give my value prop to you online. I'm never going to give my value prop to you on a commercial or on a billboard or on a social media video. All that is to get your foot in the door. Now that my foot is in the door and I'm personable with you and I'm in front of you, you can see my energy, you can see my face and my smile. That's when I'm going to give you my value prop. So
love it.
Yeah, out of those, in 2 years, that $30 million of production, I can equate 16 million of that strictly from social media. So like, if you're not using it, you're missing the boat. I'm
so glad that like all 3 of you guys are on here at the same time. Like, this might be like my favorite thing ever, because what Matt just put in the chat is 100% true. You guys, everybody, you all are each authentic. And I've always said that people would rather follow somebody that's real than somebody that's right. Actually, I stole that from Craig Rochelle, but I think a lot of that is just you are you, like Felicia, into your wellness and your like all that stuff. Justin, like just all of you like that. And Danny, like your fun and your games. Like, just all of it is like, it's just real and authentic. And it just is making me sit here and think I'm having so many ahas, because I even coach some agents that like, they try so hard to grow their business in a way that isn't them. You know what I mean? And I can see them struggling. And it's because they're trying to do it in a way that isn't them. But you guys are all you, and I've always been me, and it's worked pretty good. You know what I mean? I just think we have to make sure that we remember that for sure. Okay. So, oh man, I just feel like this is like a little fireside chat. I love it. Okay. So, let's see. So, I'm just going through my questions because we've kind of answered some of them on another way. Okay. Are you all natural on social media, or do you force yourself to do it? Like, do you do it? Does anybody hire it out, or do you guys still do it yourselves?
I joke about this all the time. Like, I, for no reason at all, built a social media following in college just because it was the thing to do. And then it turned into like my bank account now. It's like the weirdest thing that transforms somehow into authenticity of like, yeah, I'm already sharing who I am online. And then the weirdness, I bet you guys can both relate to this, the meshing of personal life and business, just collision.
Yeah.
It just all has to be the same, because at the end of the day, I'm working with, of those 200 deals we'll close this year, I'm not kidding, 190 of them or 180 of them are going to be direct friends and family or one referral away. We almost never work with strangers. And I swear when we do, it's a train wreck every time, because I'm reestablishing trust. By the time somebody calls us from that network or one step away, they already trust us. Like, we're not earning trust anymore. It's just, all right, which house do you like? And let's rock and roll. And they know this is going to be fun. But yeah, the authenticity of social media, I mentioned I can't even give up doing it myself. Over my dead body would I hire it out.
Yeah. Felicia, is most of yours the same, either sphere of influence, direct people, or one referral away, or do you do a lot of cold stuff?
All referrals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, here's a tip. Checking DMs is like the new email, because trust me, I am very diligent about checking DMs every day, but for a while, for whatever reason, I missed some like Facebook DMs because I don't know, I didn't have Messenger downloaded.
That happened to me too.
Oh my gosh. And there was like a seller and a buyer like that, because I didn't respond like months after. And my husband's like, do you want me to take over your social media? I'm like, no, I am checking this like diligently, because this is the way people communicate. Just like you both shared. Some of the younger generations, like, they want to DM you versus emailing you. And that's just the way it goes. So I have clients everywhere from, I'm an older millennial, but a lot of younger first-time home buyers to, people downsizing. So I'm kind of all over the place, but I've always wanted to grow referral, word of mouth. Because again, I think just like Justin, like those videos brilliant. No one, it's like you see the same things over and over, and I try and get inspired by other experiences, whether it's at a hotel experience, whether it's I'm purchasing, like I look at brand packaging and unique, funny messaging.
Yeah.
Because it's the saying goes is like market the way you are, you're marketed to. And so I get inspiration from that. And I'm always looking for unique ways to, brand myself, but I'm not funny. Like don't try and be funny if you're not that funny. Like I have a witty flair to me, but I'm like on camera, that probably is not gonna maybe convey as such. So, but where was I going with that? Yeah, it's always been wanting to grow that way, because you can get a lot more, just like what Glenda Baker, if you guys follow her, it's like today you can get within seconds thousands of views of someone getting to know you real quick, rather than picking up and calling 100 people that have no idea who you are. So
yeah, by the way, I've been trying for 2 months to get her to speak and so far no response. So I'm gonna keep trying. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So hold on. I want to ask you something else, Felicia, but not yet, because I want to wait till I get to your big question, to your other question. So Justin, mostly sphere of influence and referral, or do you do cold leads too?
No. So, like social media to me is setting traps. So there's two different types of lead gen for me. It's you're either hunting or you're setting traps. So cold calling, door knocking, open houses, all that's hunting. You need to be hunting to succeed in business. Like you can't put those aside. Social media for me is more setting the traps, being front of mind. So branding, marketing, social media is all my traps. Like, because you don't like when someone's buying and selling a home, their first thought is, oh, Felicia's an agent. Their first thought is, oh shit, we're moving. Oh, our kids are going to a different school. I'm 10 more miles away from my job. Gas is this, like they have so much other things going on in their mind. The first thought is not who's an agent. So that's where you're building traps. Like you're constantly figuring out through social media, through your branding, how do you stay top of mind? So when that thought comes, you're the first one that pops up.
Yeah.
So, and 80% of the people in the business fail out because they're not treating it like a job still. Like you need to be hunting, you need to be setting traps. Like go hunt, Bill. You need to be doing it for 9 to 11 every day at least. Like that's minimum 9 to 11 hours. That's your prospecting. That's you're going out hunting. And then throughout the rest of the day, that's when you're showing the homes. That's when you're setting the traps. But have these non-negotiable hours that like you have standards. I did a video on this the other day, but you guys have kids. You guys have kids.
5 stepsons.
Your kids get out at 3:30. Are you ever gonna show up at 5 to pick up your kids? Like never. You're like, are you ever gonna go your morning without brushing your teeth? Like you have standards in your life that are non-negotiable. Like you need to have those same standards in your business. Like, so if you're struggling to get business, you need to like really dive deep into yourself. And like, if you want to have success in this business, you need to have those non-negotiables. Like from 9 to 11, every single day, I will be hunting. I will be calling. I will be door knocking at the sphere. Like I'm going to do those touches to my clients, like whatever that is. And then have the rest of those times setting traps. And social media is your setting traps. Yeah. So you're not going to post one thing and you're going to get a flood of 5 people wanting to sell their house. So like, that's not the point. You're setting traps and you're being front of the mind. You're being consistent throughout your career so that you're gradually building this invisible pipeline that's not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. I love the setting traps. I think that's great. Like I look at all these people on social media who probably were nothing. And because they actually just built, who's talked about perception earlier? Which one of you said? Yeah, Justin, because I always tell new agents like perception is reality. It doesn't mean like go out and lie, and say, but also it's true. I mean, perception, we see people and we're like, man, we feel like they're crushing it. And you look them up and they sold 3 houses, but on Instagram, they're like, holy cow. And I think that and I agree with Felicia. I love the reminder of those are your non-negotiables. A lot of times I found that when realtors get busy, they get the first thing that goes is lead gen and the time. And then they look up in 90 days and they're like, oh crap, my pipeline is dry. And it's because they they let their foot up off of the gas during when they were busy. It wasn't a non-negotiable, it was a negotiable and they didn't do it. Yeah, totally. Okay, Danny, talk to us about your events. And some people have heard, because I just like always want everybody to hear from you about this. I know you recently did another one. Like, tell us one, I guess, for people who haven't heard, kind of how you started the Danny parties, and then two, like, what have you learned now that you've done them so much, and how was this last one?
Right. So when I started, one of the main leaders at our office proposed to me, hey, you seem like you have a good network. You're coming into real estate. And what Justin was just talking about, right? You have to come in with a plan. My headshots were taken 2 months before I passed that exam. My business cards were already printed before I was a realtor. Like, you can't come in, get a license, and then expect something to happen. So with everyone that comes on our team now, we have only hired people actually that weren't realtors before, and we've helped them. And what I would say, I was thinking this as you were just talking with perception, I can get someone out of, holy crap, they're a new agent, in about 45 days. Give me 45 days with somebody on social media and all of their friends will forget they're new. Like, that's all it takes. Just be consistent, go to open houses. I freaking love that you got in a hot tub wearing a suit. That is like my favorite thing I've ever heard. And what you just said that no one else thinks about, no one knows that you didn't list the open house. They don't care. They just see that, oh, you just got a real estate license. And the next day, oh, you're showing a house. That's cool. You must be working. I tell my team all the time, just show people you're working. It's not that hard. Like, we have a weird job where we just have to prove to people we know what we're doing.
You remember, Danny, do you remember that? Just reminded me really fast. Our friend Ken Pozek, who, I mean, if you want to grow on YouTube, like, you have to follow Ken. I mean, he's amazing. He's in Orlando, but I think he did that video of Shaq's house. I think it was, and it wasn't his listing, but it went like viral. And he ended up working with 6 professional athletes from that video, and it was never his listing. He just did a tour of it in like a really high quality video, and it blew up. Like, it just completely blew up. And then that was his, and then all of a sudden these professional athletes thought that he was the agent to go to if you were a professional athlete in Orlando. And I mean, it's like, it's insane.
So to that point, like, the party started because that lady at the office said, hey, something that people can do, you can throw a launch party. And what people typically do is they'll buy out a bar and pay for people's drinks. Like, guys, I'm a Baptist worship leader. I'm not going to be providing anybody's unlimited drinks at an open bar. Like, it's just not my scene. What is my scene? It's families with 3 kids selling their $300,000 house that used to be 200, but as of now it's 300, and buying their $500,000 or $600,000 house that sell this like crazy fast in this market, help them upgrade. You're in and out with the cutest, most adorable family from church I've ever met. And that's $1 million in sales for our team. See you later. Let's do the next one. So that's my bread and butter. So what do? I market, to Felicia's point, to those people. I be myself. I'm already their worship leader. I already have their trust, or I'm already their friend from a basketball league or the softball league I run, or whatever. So I invited all those people to a launch party at first. And when I first kicked off, 175 people came to a launch party that had nothing to do with anything except, hey, Danny's becoming a realtor and he's giving us barbecue. But at the end of it, I remember thinking, how can I do that a million more times? Like, that was the most fun thing ever. I'm obsessed with getting all my favorite people in the same room and introducing them to each other. And follow up to that, Michael Marr is the guy who wrote the 7 Levels of Communication. I haven't told you this yet, Dana. I emailed him about 2 weeks ago and said, hey, I'm going to tell you how you changed my life. I was like, I need to find this guy's email address because I'm probably his best case study in history and he doesn't know I exist. He emailed me back in 7 minutes and said, will you be on the podcast? I was like, wow, okay. I just wanted him to someday see it and be like, hey, I helped someone. But he was on one 43-minute podcast with Pat Hyben. It's Real Estate Rockstars. And it talks about, you can look it up. It's like number 500 something. If you just type into Spotify or anywhere, Real Estate Rockstars events, it'll pop up like 500 plus clients at events. And from that, I pulled his idea, which is, you ready for this novel, groundbreaking thing? You don't have to call and email and knock on doors to get 40 touch points a year with people. What you have to do is, instead of annoying them, and frankly, I don't want to call anybody and talk to them, Dana, because I'm like, I'm just going to bug them. It's going to be awkward. Why? Because it's not genuine. It's not authentic. I'm calling them because some book's telling me to, and I can't do that. I took bold. I called like 6 people. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm losing friends. Like, this is horrible. So instead, what he proposes is, if you are able to invite someone 10 different ways to one event, shoot them a Facebook message, give them a phone call, and invite them to a thing, send them something in the mail. And I'm looking at my fridge right now. We take a dumb team picture for the events that we do now. So we have one up on my fridge of us all in our Reds gear, and we sent it out to everybody and said, hey, come to us with us to the Cincinnati Reds game. And we blast that on social media. We do fun videos, all that kind of stuff. We've grown that now where I do 4 events per year. My goal is to get 10 touch points per client via social media, email, mail, phone calls, texting them the link to the event, saying, hope we see you there. And it's grown from what originally was like, okay, 200 people, 250 people, 400 people. As my team has grown and I've given them unlimited capacity to invite people to those events, we've broken 1,000 people at our last 2 Reds games now.
Was the last one, did you have that many too? I wondered.
1,300 RSVPs, and it literally was thunderstorming, and we still have over 900 people showed up. So it was like the game got delayed for 2 hours, and almost probably 500 of them sat in stands for 2 hours until it started.
Oh my gosh.
It was like worst case scenario with weather, and people still had an incredible time. They were there to hang out with their friends and each other. And it was the first time for me. It wasn't about me. We've made it now the Baron Group events. And I looked around, and literally all of our people were talking with their individual people. Talk about the best FaceTime literally in the history of the universe. And the fun part about this one, the Reds asked me to throw out the first pitch at this game. So we hammed it up with different videos and stuff ahead of time to let people know that it was happening, to let them know that, like, this is the one video I've made where I was like, oh, Justin would love this. Because it was just completely nothing to do with real estate, all about me and Mitch just clowning. I did a fake interview. We set up a tape, whatever.
It was good. Yeah.
And so that whole thing was awesome. And people showed up, and I've had people now that don't even live within 500 miles of us reaching out to me like, dude, I cannot believe you threw out the first pitch. Like, it is a branding thing. I've been a Cincinnati Reds and Bengals guy. I was at the Super Bowl for the Bengals. I'm obsessed with our sports teams, and I would really love to work with our athletes as well. So working on that. But at the same time, that event now structure is in place where we'll do a Reds game every year. What we're talking about now this year is, do we want to go back to a trampoline park, do a drive-in movie, do a fall outdoor event? I'd love to do a golf outing. It's endless opportunity, but the basis of it is this, Dana. No cold calls without a point. No cold calls or no text messages without an offering. And in doing so, people are deeply ingrained with everything that we're about. They're then waiting for our next event. And on top of that all, when they have a house come up that needs to sell, or their neighbor's brother's sister twice removed even mentions they need a realtor, our people are throwing themselves at them. Like, you have got to hear about our Realtors Reds game.
Yeah.
They're talking about our Reds game. They're not even talking about our negotiation skill or ability, which we also possess, thank goodness. But like, the broader marketing scheme is, how do we get to people? How do we basically plant ourselves in their brain as their agent without being annoying and offer something and get all those touch points that Gary Keller wants me to get? I think I've officially accomplished. I do it without bugging anybody. And it's like my favorite thing ever, because I'm sick of bugging people. I wouldn't like this business if I had to bug people. That would just,
I love that. I was trying to write down, or trying to read something that I wrote down before, but shoot, I can't remember who somebody said something about that. But yes, Danny, that's great. Okay, quick question. Someone asked if you're paying for all the admissions. Will you just quickly touch on like the sponsorship and what you pay?
So picture this: one of my good friends in this area that sells about what we sell. Dana knows her too. She's great. Pays almost $10,000 a month to Zillow. I paid $30,000 for a Reds game. Welcome to what I think is the better option. Like, of those two options, that's what I want to be putting my money towards. And I'm not paying that much for every game. That's because we spent $15,000 on every single person coming, getting a t-shirt, sunflower seeds, bubble gum, and hand-printed cards, baseball cards that we individually signed. Like, we went so above and beyond to make it like this unique experience.
It's an experience, though. I mean, that's an experience.
And for the first time ever, guys, I didn't touch the operations of it because I have 5 people on my team that do that now.
Yeah.
I didn't schedule it. I didn't buy the tickets. I didn't print the t-shirts. I didn't talk to anybody. I showed up and we handed out 1,000 t-shirts and welcomed everybody in, and I wrote the check. But we have our premier sponsor is always our partner lender, who, when he wanted to get in with me years ago, I said, if you want to work with me, what I need is for you to support me on these events. So he wrote me big checks for those events. We had probably 12 other people on the back of the shirt this time: painters, electricians, our driveway people, the people that printed the shirts, photographer, whatever. And they'll all throw us $300 to $1,000, $1,500, my HVAC guy. And we call those people now with the expectation of, hey, we sent you a ton of people this year. Would you like to sponsor this event? And with some of those people, it's not, would you like to? It's, hey, where will you be sending your check? Like, it's, if you want to continue to earn our referrals of our 200 houses we're going to sell, And our painter told me last year I was 30% of his business came from our team.
Wow.
And I think that's going to be up this year, to be honest. So those people are dying to help us out and to get on the t-shirt. Your expectation should be, and I'll end with this, that in this business, if you are feeding people like that, they need to be getting you in return. And don't be ashamed to ask for even $250 or $500 for an event. That goes a long way. Like, that's still a lot of money, despite however many houses you're selling and whatever. And for them to be involved with you and to create that kind of equal relationship is a huge win for both sides. So it's been
well, that's great, Danny, because that I just taught Quantum Leap, in all of our areas. And one of the things that was a good reminder for me, even teaching it, was the key relationships that Gary always says that you should have. And one of those is your 25 core advocates. Yep. And I think a lot of times we forget those people because we just, I don't know, for fear of asking, or whatever it is. But yeah, I think that's an awesome reminder. I love that. I think that's awesome. Love it. Love it. Okay, let's see. What do we want to go to next? Oh my gosh, we have so much stuff. Well, let's see. Justin or Felicia, will either of you touch on what are some of the best things that you've done that have worked the best? Justin, you gave a couple of examples, but people love on these. They love ideas and tactical things they can take away. Anything you guys would share on that front?
I guess, I bring up 100 things, but something you can do personally is is there somebody in your office that just had 5 closings? Is there a team in the office that's killing it? Dive in their social media and see what they're doing. What are they doing that you're not doing?
Yeah.
I remember I'm one of those people, it takes me a half hour to go to sleep. So I'm in bed, I'm constantly thinking what videos I can do, what's everyone else doing? How am I gonna break through this market? And I remember there's a team, they just got 6 closings last month from an event they did, where they were handing out donuts in the neighborhood they farm. They always farm the same neighborhood. And then they went to a bunch of hospitals and they dropped off donut boxes. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea, especially during after the COVID and all that. Yeah. They were dropping off 5 boxes of donuts, and all they did was tape their business card to the Dunkin' Donuts box. So I started thinking, I was like, dude, if I was working in a hospital, and this is what I'd say, get out of your realtor mindset and go into your normal person mindset. And if I was in the hospital working a 12-hour shift and I went in the break room, I saw donuts, my first thought's going to be open the box, grab a donut, and walk away. I'm not going to look at the card. I just want to do that as a person. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that same thing, but hold on, Roxanne.
I cannot wait.
I'm going to make the box my business card. So
love that.
So I make donut boxes. It's got my call tattoo real estate group. It's got the phone number, the Let's Ink a Deal. It's got my Instagram.
All right, Let's Ink a Deal just made my heart jump. Let's Ink a Deal.
So I'm like, no one's going to look at the business card, but you're not going to see a big black box with the colors bright all over it and not look at it. Mm-hmm. I think that same day I was posted on someone's social media 12 times. I had 12 different tags for Call Tattoo on social media that I shared, and they were all nurses and doctors in this hospital saying, oh, thanks for the donuts. None of them knew who I was. Now I have 15,000 followers on Instagram. Now I just got in front of 5,000-6,000 more people just from dropping off donut boxes and just thinking outside the box. Do something that somebody else is doing. I hate the word rip off and duplicate. I think that's used too much in business. I like rip off and make it better.
Yeah.
Rip off, if you're gonna rip me off, that's fine. Rip me off, but make it your own.
Make it better. Justin, yeah. Gary Keller just said that in the mastermind that I was in last month in Austin. He said, you can go and see what other people are doing, but that you're going to be successful when you can do what they're doing, but 10x it. And he was like, don't just go do what somebody else is doing. Go, if you're going to rip off and duplicate, make it better.
Yeah. So that idea is just something that came, I have billboards around the city, and the billboard, they charge you based on how many cars drive by your billboard. So the basis of the payment is how many cars usually drive by that one billboard. So I started thinking, I'm like, you know what, how do I get in front of more people? So I started making these crazy ass billboards that I put my face on. You guys remember NSYNC? They had an album cover. They were all the people. So I put my face on each of NSYNC's bodies, and I put, the song Bye Bye Bye. I put BUI, BUI, BUI. And on the bottom of the billboard said, are you not in sync with your living condition? Let's talk. And it said bye, 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 as buying a house. And then my face is on all their bodies. That thing got shared so much on social media. I'm like, the billboard company's charging me this much for cars that drive by and cars that sit at the intersection look at it. But you just didn't charge me for those 500 people throughout the 3 or 4 months that just posted on, like, what the hell is this guy doing? And they post on their social media. I don't care if you have 300 followers, that's 300 people that just saw my face and didn't see me yesterday. So just like just think outside the box. Like someone's doing something in the office that you can make better, or you can make it your own. Or if you go to my social media, like whatever I do, like I don't care, rip anything I do off. You could take my logo and make it your own logo. Like I don't care. Like I want to see everybody win. Like, and the more you pour into other people, the more you will get in return. Yeah,
totally agree with that. Love that. I love that. Okay, Felicia, what tips would you give?
I love that, Justin. The donut box, that's super clever. I agree to find what successful agents are doing, but also stay in your lane. Like definitely if something just doesn't feel authentic to you, of course, like anything new is going to feel uncomfortable. So definitely not seek like comfortability, because like the only way you will grow is by getting out of your comfort zone. But I will say definitely, just try and stay true to you, but also be different, because people see the same things over and over by agents. So don't just be the one doing the stale market updates. And like, so something that I pulled out of the box is I'm in process of trademarking Do the Work, Do It Well.
It's so good. I love that. I love that.
And years ago, oh gosh, Stephen Pressfield is one of my favorite authors. He wrote the War of Art. Yes. And it's all about like beating like all these like resistances. Basically, like we're all artists. Like, what is that craft of yours? And that book, like I read it on an airplane one time and it just like changed my life. And so Do the Work was something like, he has a book called Do the Work. And like, I just added Do It Well one day into a journal. And then, so I'm in process of getting it trademarked, but I have it now, rather than just sending like, I have like little onesies that I send to clients that are just having a baby, and it says Do the Work, Do It Well, little one. And like branded Yetis I just got done. And these water bottles are like nice bamboo lids. Like you're going to use this.
Yeah. I love your Yeti. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just yeah. So, that's been something where, yes, like it still has, Ronk Residential, my personal, and the next home experience at the bottom, but it's something that's not all about me, because no one wants your custom cutting board that is like tattooed realtor, right? Like, yes, subtly on there, but like something like, instead put their last name or like what area of town that they closed in. And so make it about them. Another thing that I do when I'm meeting with buyers and sellers, when I know they're committed to working with me, I send them like a little all about you form. And it's like their birthday, anniversary, kids, pets, whatever. Like, what are 3 things you can't live without? Where are your favorite local coffee, dining, lunch spots? And then, what can I help you at this point? And then I also ask, like, what's your design aesthetic? So, I'll remember, hey, Justin loves Scotch, or, Dana loves Pinot Noir. Like, just those little things that I have on file, and they'll save those immediately when I get them back, or else I'll forget. I'll put it in the notes section on the iPhone. So
on there. Oh, that's smart.
Pull up like, hey, it's so-and-so's upcoming anniversary or something. Like, just those surprise and delight gifts go a long way, rather than the ordinary like holiday pies that you mentioned. I will refuse to do holiday pies. Vinny, come over here. Sorry, my dog is trying to escape the office.
That's okay. Mine has literally been snoring.
Oh my gosh.
I believe that you haven't heard Frankie. I'm like hoping that he's not snoring loud.
I love it. I love it. So
it's even funny though how like your dogs even become part of your, like, people send me Yorkie stuff all the time and they're like, oh, it made me think of you. And like I think of now every time I see your dog, I think of you. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to me how things become your brand. Like it just becomes what people think of you.
Yeah. My clients send me like little Frenchie videos
All the time. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, just making it a personalized experience, because there's thousands of us in each one of our markets.
Yeah.
How are you going to be different? How are you going to take what could be a very boring process and add some fun and flair to it? And because this is a big deal. And I think sometimes we can get into like, I know me personally, I can get, if I'm a workaholic, if I allow it, but I have to stop and take breaks. And because I'll like lose a little bit of that drive and passion if I don't take a step and reset. And the biggest way I will say, if you are having a day that you're just kind of down, because we all do, right, is to get back in that mindset of service rather than about yourself.
Yeah, totally love that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I just shared that on my Wednesday morning mindset this week. If you're burnt out on some, like if you're feeling burnout, ask yourself, like, what are you learning right now? And then like, what can you go do to serve or do something different? Because I feel like we've had a lot of burnout in the industry lately. Just over the last 2 years. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, last question. This has been so good. I've taken a whole page of notes myself. Last question. What, so we already mentioned some, but books, podcasts, apps, tools, like anything that you guys have loved, companies. I know, Justin, you already put one in there for your donut boxes. Thank you for sharing that. Anything else you guys would share or that you can think of that come off the top of your head?
Yeah, big thing for me. Dana, we say it on every show, no crunchy t-shirts. If you're going to get
crunchy t-shirts,
you're going to get people stuff, get them nice stuff. People have told me again and again, we'd wear your t-shirts if there was nothing on it because they're so comfortable.
I wear your sweatshirt all the time, Danny, now that you gave me one, because that's
also the most comfortable thing we've ever printed. So, but that goes for the Yetis. I don't go for cheap, like water. Cool. Yeah. Like we're going to buy people actual Yetis with our stuff on them. Like we want to be associated positively. And for me, if we want to continue to up our price point, we have to have a quality associated with our brand and not just in name of making funny social media stuff. Like we also need to back that up. There's also for newer people, like there was this element of building credibility and professionalism up front that I now have the creative freedom to do what I want because we're established and people aren't going to roll their eyes and go, this guy's 24 or whatever. Like, well, now I'm 30. We've sold a lot of houses. Everybody knows that. And they can actually just laugh and still trust me. So there's an element of freedom there that comes with like, yeah, I'll throw the suit jacket on occasionally. Oh my gosh. But for the most part now, it's just establishing that we want to have quality in the stuff that we're doing and consistency. And the last thing that I'll say, we brought that full-time media guy on. Shout out to Tyler sitting next to you. And for all of our events, I think the biggest learning that I've had is it's not about just the event. So events can go poorly and no one has to know that for the same reason I said earlier. If you don't post that it went poorly, who's going to know? So what you can do is hype it up at the beginning. That's the marketing aspect. Yeah. You can hype it up afterwards. And to the point of getting broad exposure on social media, I will not run an event where we don't have a 2-minute professional video afterwards with the instructions for the video guy being, get every single person in this video that you possibly can.
You said that last time, and I love that, Danny, because everybody, when they watch it, what are they doing? They're looking for themselves.
I got texts from my friends from the Reds video we put up yesterday. Wow, came to your event, and I'm not even in the video. I'm like, well, wait for our 150 pictures coming from our photographer then. I promise you're in those. So there are times legitimately at the Reds game, especially where people aren't in any, and it's like, dang it, all we want is to get everybody in something and tag all their butts on every possible platform so that all their friends see it. It's just, and then we say specifically too, take these pictures, use them where you want. You don't even have to tag us. We don't care. And if they so choose to, half the time people are writing a paragraph about how wonderful we are and then posting their picture at the Reds game. So people will do the work for you if you create that content as well. Sounds like Justin's done that really strategically. I want to do that in a way also that is just, it's actually a value add. Some of our events will have just a family portrait set up for our fall festival so that people can get that stuff. So I'll stop talking because I know it's 2:00, but that biggest element of just creating content, adding value, but also giving people nice stuff, they love that and they don't forget about it.
Yep. Love it. So awesome, Danny. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Justin, any last tips?
This is a marketing subject. Have something in your business that the biggest marketing win is when people are talking about you when you're not around. So have something in your business that will spark up a conversation when you're not around. When I closed on my home, I got a wine opener and a bottle of wine that I never drank, and I never used a wine opener. Like I didn't drink wine. My gift to my clients when I close is a tattoo. Like I get them tattooed. So I give them a gift card to either their tattoo artist or my tattoo artist will tattoo them. Not only is that like a gift and it fits the brand, but it's like if they're at a pool party and they have a cool tattoo on their arm and it's the one I got for them and someone asks them about it and they say, oh, my real estate agent got it for me. Like the first thought's about, what do you mean? Your real estate agent got it for you? Or like, just it's a way to talk about me when I'm not around. Or
I can't be the only person that wants to know this. Do you only sell houses to people who have tattoos?
No, that's the market I was going after. But like I said, I was hitting my 33%, but the people I was using were the other 66% that I didn't expect. So it's just like, no, to answer your question, half my clients don't even want the tattoo, so I get them something else. But it's like it's something I thought of in my business because I constantly think of how to grow it. And if people are talking about you when you're not around, it's just another lead gen lever that can eventually end the business. I'll leave it with this. Like I bought a limo and a short bus, and my cars are wrapped. The limo's wrapped, the short bus is wrapped, and I will park them in the busiest parts of town on Fridays and Saturday nights, hoping that someone walks by and says, oh, the tattooed realtor, I've seen his stuff all over Facebook. And now they're talking about me just from my limo or just from my minibus being parked there. I go pick up my kids from school in a limo, and me picking them up like 3 or 4 times at that school in a limo, every single kid in that school thinks we're millionaires. Like they don't know that their mom's freaking Toyota Camry costs more than my limo, but it's a freaking limo. It's a long limo. It's wrapped. It's 2007. It runs, but it's not like nice. But it's the perception of people's minds. That guy has a fucking wrapped limo. And now I'm picking up these kids. So all these kids are going home saying, oh my gosh, Camille Cruz's dad picked him up in a limo. The tattooed realtor picked him up in a limo. Like, and now these kids are talking about me to their parents. So I went and got a bunch of kids' t-shirts made. And every single kid in my daughter's class, my son's class, they all have t-shirts of my cartoon character, and it says, let's ink a deal. And
I love it.
They wear them to school. I can tell you there was one day where there was like 12 kids in that school that had my t-shirt on, because I gave every kid in the school a t-shirt because they see me pull up in the limo or the Corvette or the bus, and they just think we're millionaires. I'm like, no, we're not millionaires, but that perception of these kids, now all these kids tell their parents, now their parents are talking about me. It's generating conversations when you're not around. Like find something you can do in your business, whether it's a closing gift or something an event you have, whatever it is that will get people talking about you when you're not around. That's
Justin, the depth of your brand invasion on that school. Like my church is the same way. There are 10 of these at church on a given Sunday. Yeah. And you are doing literally what I'm doing, but so much more creatively.
Yeah, I got a bunch of kids, like one of my billboards outside another school. Those kids come into my brokerage to take pictures, like, because they just think
you're a celebrity.
You're a celebrity. Yes, that's exactly right.
I give them all t-shirts. I'm like, I'm gonna have these kids promoting me to all their parents every day.
It's so smart. I mean, it's so smart. I love it. This is why I love talking about branding and marketing, because it's just the coolest. Okay, Felicia, take us out. I know we're 4 minutes past. Sorry, guys.
No, I don't know how to top that. What's really cool is like from something that you almost were like self-deprecating in a sense with your look, and look at what you've created. It's pretty amazing. And that's just, I guess, a great way to end all of this is to really stay true to who you are. And visibility trumps ability, what Jared James, real estate coach, always says.
I love that.
It's just when you think like, oh my gosh, am I being annoying? Am I posting too much? I will tell you, do a mix of personal and business, because even if people aren't engaging or liking, they're watching. And I've had plenty of clients come to me that I was like, what? You're following me? Like, and then they'll be like, hey, I'm ready to sell. Like, you post amazing listing videos. You like all of that quality work that you guys are putting out and the remarkable branding you're putting out there. people watch, and they're you may just never know when they're gonna reach out. So keep doing what you're doing. And I'm so honored to be amongst this panel, and I'm definitely going to be following all of you guys. So thank you.
I followed both of you guys within 2 seconds of Dana's email. Anytime Call Tattoo pops up, I'm just like, okay, here we go.
One of my favorite things to do, honestly, I kind of feel like it's a unique ability or like a God-given like blessing or something, is just to connect people. Like I love to connect with people, and I love to connect like-minded people. And I feel like all of you guys, I feel like we're all like-minded. So I'm glad for you guys to connect, but I appreciate you guys and everything that you shared. Thank you guys for being on. Thanks for everybody who's watching. Go follow them on social media. You can slide in their DMs if you have more questions. They might check them before they check their emails. And hopefully you got a bunch of nuggets from today. I definitely did. And thank you guys so much. I appreciate each of you.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank
See you guys. Nice to meet you.
Have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys. See ya.
Bye.